Breaking news, ladies and gentlemen, breaking news. Barbara Walters, a superstar and pioneer in television news, has died at the age of 93, ladies and gentlemen. It's a breaking news. Greetings and thank you for tuning in to Deep Roots TV, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Rastafari Soldier, your host. Barbara Walters, a pioneer as a TV news first woman superstar, has died at 93 according to ABC News. Ladies and gentlemen, New York. Barbara Walters, the intrepid interviewer, anchor, and program host, who's blazed the way as the first woman in television to become a news superstar during her remarkable career, and the duration and the variety of interviews that she have done. She's now dead, ladies and gentlemen. She was 93. ABC broke the news into the broadcast to announce Walters' death Friday night. She lived her life with no regrets. She was a trailblazer, not only for female journalists, but for all women. Her publicity and publicist, Cindi Berger, also said in a statement, adding Walter died peacefully at her New York home. An ABC spokesperson did not have an immediate confirmation or any comments Friday night being shared statements of Bob Iger, the CEO of ABC, partner of Walt Disney Company. He said that Barbara was a true legend, a pioneer, not just for women in journalism, but for journalism itself. Iger said, during nearly 4 decades of ABC before the NBC Walter exclusive interview with royalty and entertainers brought her celebrity status rank with theirs, while placing her at the forefront of the trend and made her a star of television reporting. Late in her career, she gave informative and twist with the interview, a live ABC weekend coffee cash with an all-female panel for whom any topic was at the table, who welcomed guests ranging from world leaders to teen idols. With the side venture and expected hit, Walter considered The View the dessert of her career. The statement from the show said Walters created A View in 1997 to champion women's voice. We're proud to be part of the legacy, the statement said. Walter made headlines in 1976 as the first female news anchor with an unprecedented $1 million salary that drew gasp. Her drive was legendary as she competed, not just as a rival network, but with colleagues at her own network for each big get in the world jam, with more and more interviews, including female journalists following in her trails. I never expected this, Walter said in 2004. Taking stock of her success, I always thought I'd be a writer for television. I never even thought I'd be in front of a camera. But she was a natural on camera, especially when playing notable with searing question. I'm not afraid when I'm interviewing. I have no fear, Walter told Associated Press in 2008, in a voice that never lost the trace of her native Bostonian accent or its substance of W's for R's. In its substitute for W for R's, Walter lobbed blunt and sometimes giddy questions, often surrogated with hushed relevance of delivery. Off screen, do you like you? She once asked actor John Wayne, while Lady Bird Johnson was asked whether she was jealous of her late husband's reputation as a ladies' man. In May 2014, she tapped her final episode of The View amid much ceremony of end of 5-decade career in television, although she continued to make occasional television appearance. During a commercial break, a thorn of TV newswomen she had paved the way for, including Diane Sawyer, Kate Curry, Robin Roberts, and Connie Chung, posted for a group of portrait. I have to remember this on the bad days, Walter said quietly, because this is the best. Her career began with no such inkling of majesty. Walter graduated from Sarah Lawrence College in 1943 and eventually landed a temporary job behind the scene assignment at Today's in 1961. Shortly afterwards, what was seen as a token woman slot among the staff, 8 writers opened. Walter got the job and began to make occasional on-air appearances with offbeat stories such as A Day in the Life of None, or the occasional appearance where tribulation of a Playboy bunny. For a later, she donned bunny ears and high heels to work at the Playboy Club. As she appeared more frequently, she was spread the title of Today Girl and had been attached to her precedents or her predecessors. But she had to play her dues, sometimes sprinting between interviews to do dog or food commercial. She had the first interview with Rose Kennedy after the assassination of her son Robert, as well as with Prince Grace of Monaco and President Richard Nixon. She traveled to India with Jacqueline Kennedy, to China with Nixon, and to Iran to cover the Shia Gala party. But she faced a setback in 1971 with the arrival of new host Frank McGee, who insists she waited for him to ask three questions before she could open her mouth during an interview with powerful person. Although she gained celebrity status in her own right, the celebrity world was familiar to her even as a little girl. Her father was an English-born book agent who turned an old Boston church into a nightclub. Lou Walters opened other clubs in Miami and New York, and young Barbara spent her after hours with regulars such Joseph Kennedy and Howard Hughes. Those were the good times, but her father made the lost fortune in the dizzying cycle and thought her success was also at risk of being snatched away and could neither be trusted nor enjoyed. Great freedom and opportunity await her outside the NBC studio. She hit the road to produce more exclusive interviews, including with Nixon, Chief of Staff H.R. Haldeman. By 1976, she had been granted the title of Today co-host and was earning $700,000 a year. But when ABC signed her for $5 million 5-year contract, she was branded the $1 million baby. Reports failed to note her job duties would be split between the network entertainment division and ABC News, that mirrored the third place. Meanwhile, Harry Reisner, her seasoned ABC Evening News co-anchor, was said to resent her salary and celebrity orientation. It wasn't just the shaky relationship with the co-anchor brought Walter's problem. Comedian Gilda Radner sanitized her on Saturday Night Live as a rhetoric commentator named Barbara Wawa. And after her interview with a newly elected President Jimmy Carter, in which Walters told Carter, "Be wise with us," CBS correspondent Marley Saffir publicly derided her as a first female pop blessings the news cardinal, as was a period that seems to make the end of everything work for, she was later recalled. "I thought it was all over. How stupid of me ever to have left NBC. But salvation arrived in the form of the new boss. ABC News President Ronnie Arledge moved her out of the co-anchor slot and into a special project. Meanwhile, she found success with her quarterly primetime interview special. She became a frequent contributor to the news magazine 2020 and later co-host a premature or perennial, sorry I can't say that word too well right now, favorite. She was a favorite on the show, and she reviews and received for the year 10 most fantastic or fascinating people. She received that award. By 2004, when she stepped down from 2020, she had lodged more than 700 interviews ranging from Ronald Reagan, Margaret Thatcher, and Muhammad Gaddafi, Michael Jackson, Eric and Lee Menendez, Elton John. Her 2-hour talk with Monica Lewinsky in 1999, timed for the former White House intern memoir about her affair with Bill Clinton, the president, drew more than 700 million views. Lewinsky tweeted that she had lunch with Walters a few years ago, where, of course, she was charming, witty. Some of her questions were still her signature interview style. A special favorite for Walter was Katharine Hepburn, although in 1981 exchange led to one of her most ridiculed questions: "What kind of tree are you?" Walters would later object that her question was preferably reasonable within the context of their conversation. Walter did pronounce herself guilty of being dreadful, sentimental at times, and was famous for making her subject cry, with Oprah Winfrey and Ringo Starr among their famous shudders. But her work also received high praises. She won the Peabody Award for her interview with Christopher Reeve shortly after the 1995 horseback ride accident that left him paralyzed. Walter's first marriage, a businessman Bob Iger, was annulled after a year. Her 1963 marriage to theater owner Lee Gerber, with whom she adopted a daughter, ended in divorce after 13 years. Her 5-year marriage to producer Merv Andelson ended in divorce in 1990. Walters wrote a bestseller 2008 memoir, Audition, which caught readers by surprise with her disclosure of a long and rocky affair in the 1970s with married U.S. Senator Edward Brooke. Walters' self-disclosure reached another benchmark in May of 2010 when she made an announcement on The View that days later she would undergo heart surgery. She would further her successful surgery, and those of others notable, including Clinton and David Letterman. In a primetime special, Walter is survived by her daughter, Jacqueline Danforth. "I hope that I will remember as a good and courageous journalist. I hope that some of my interview not create history, but were witness to history although I know that title has been used. Walter had told the AP upon her retirement from The View. I think that when I look at what I have done, I have a great sense of accomplishment. I do what want to sound proud and hearty, but I think I've had just a wonderful career, and I am so thrilled that I have. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the greatest voice, face, interviewer, pioneer of the news broadcasting shows, Barbara Walters, have passed, have transitioned. May her soul rest in peace. My condolences to all the friends and families, all her news families, all her blood relatives, everyone that have seen Miss Walters on news and on interviews. Condolences. Leave your comment, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Rastafari Soldier of Deep Roots TV. Thank you for listening. Thank you for staying so long, and, condolences again to all the family. If you have not subscribed, go ahead and hit that red subscribe button for me. Yaganti, R.I.P., Miss Walters. More life and more joy. Thank you for tuning in to Deep Roots TV. Thank you for listening to me.
So from them X with the fire, them have to mix with the lightning. Them mix with the lightning, them have to mix with the thunder. Them mix with the thunder, them got to mix with the world. And they so black people put the wicked them under. Hey Babylon, me see them a fret and them a wonder. Who flashy lightning and who roll the thunder? Deep root flashy lightning and him roll the thunder. Babylon, me see that them a panda. Look how much of the youth them all them shit and kill, look how much them put under. How much of the youth them all them send a dove cut ya. Where Babylon the fire burn no longer. Babylon the proofs full of say you can't turn ya. Fire king, Rastaman and a real fire king. Boy, fire king, Rastafari soldier and fire king. Yeah, balalang bang,
Pick up Deep Roots TV. Respect, make sure to tune in. We are every time. We're watching Deep Roots TV.
My name is Akaya, and you're watching Deep Roots TV.
Watching Deep Roots TV.
Deep Roots TV.
You're watching Deep Roots TV.
Deep Roots TV.